We're starting to get some unusual requests. Like today, I had to make a cat ornament that had 3 legs and no tail because their cat has
3 legs and no tail.
Yeah, so I said, you know what, I can do that. And it's like, you can make a cat with. I was like, yeah, man, just cut it out.
That's personalization to the max.
That's it, man.
You're like, I'm not here to judge your cat. I'm here to represent him on Christmas.
Well, I told them, I was like, which leg is missing? They said the back right leg. I was like, perfect. Little things like that. Done. Yeah.
Is that all acrylic back there?
I don't have acrylic.
That's Iron Man acrylic, like LG or I was about to say LGBTQ. RGB little.
Is that a new type of diode?
It's an LGBTQ diode. It's very cutting edge.
Okay.
And that is the opening of the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Laser Source podcast, the #1 podcast if you're looking to grow or scale your laser business. We don't have a particular topic today. I'm surrounded by just a massive legion of diode lasers at the moment, so I can talk about that for a little bit. We also have Michael Mullins joining us again. He enjoyed his taste. He enjoyed his taste from over at Laser 911 of the Laser Source podcast. So he's back. He's here and he's ready to rock. Boyce is here too. What's up, Boyce? How you doing, man?
What's up, boys?
Hey guys, sorry about that. How you doing?
All good. It's all good. And Kyle and Matt are here too. Hey, how you guys doing?
What up? What up?
Setting up my UV for some work while we're hanging out.
What do you? Oh, go ahead, Kyle.
I was just gonna say I just grabbed my dinner, so I'm just sitting here staring at my food.
My food is sitting next to me as well. I'm so busy right now, just like building stuff that I literally like have to keep going while we record the podcast today. It's just been nonstop. Anything interesting coming through the shop this week, Michael?
I actually brought just for fun. A couple of things, but I brought something that I was working on right before I got on the thing. I was literally just shut the machines down because of the exhaust fans and stuff. What I'm working on today is a batch of these. These are definitely Michael's craft type stuff.
But those are cool.
Brought me these.
Ooh,
they're like a book holder.
Yeah,
like a book. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're a tea company, and they're going to give these out to their best clients, Christmas.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
Yeah,
and
cool.
So my job is to put their logo on the front with the CO2, and then on the spine. So unless you got a deep Z-axis, you ain't doing these.
Right.
How deep?
Those are pretty, dude.
I mean, it's
so deep,
real deep.
It's So I wanted to show that. So that's what I was working on. I'm working on a batch of like 50 of those.
Is it just like kind of like balsa wood, like craft?
It's totally the Hobby Lobby Michael's Crafts. And when I get that stuff, I explain to the customer right off the bat, like, look, I know you've probably seen laser engraving and you're looking for that dark brown, nice, even look.
Yeah.
And usually if I just tell them that right off the bat, that's probably kind of what you're going to get, but not whatever you're imagining in your head. It's going to be a little bit less than that. They're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really don't.
This is my experience too. But we care, so it's hard.
We care. Yeah.
We totally care.
My first thought was defocus. That was all I could.
Yeah, I did. These are all focused by 1 penny just to even get that dark. What I mean?
2 mil. Yep.
That's a Sonoma laser engraving term, 1 penny. Because back when Michael and I worked at Sonoma Laser Engraving together, that's how we measured our defocus. So I'd be like, Michael, how do we get this like dark mark on like this, alder wood? And he'd be like, bro, that's 4 pennies. And I'm like, oh, cool. Okay. So that's like, and we literally had like pennies.
You sure it's not 2 nickels?
Yeah. They literally no pennies, dude. And they lived on the CO2 next to the controller. So I believe it. They would not go anywhere. That was the way, dude. Yeah. So 1 penny on those.
Like that's what people literally ask me. Like whenever I show them like the olive wood stuff I do, they're like, "Well, what's your defocus?" And I was like, 2 taps.
Yeah, 2 taps.
Yeah.
2 taps like that, but not long taps. Just like tap tap.
Nice.
Right.
Oh, what the hell's this thing doing?
What's going on? So you're on the UV today, Matt? Is it the ornament?
Yeah, same ornaments. Yeah. It's just so for anybody who's been watching,
Did we talk about this on Tuesday?
Oh yeah, I literally have been dangling these things all the fucking time. But literally, it's just I got 200 of them, and so my thought is like I've got kids. So if for anybody who's out there doing multiple jobs, so literally like tonight was conference night till 7:00. Yep. So I was at work, came home, saw my kids for like 15 whole minutes, got to hang out with my wife for 15 minutes, and then it was like, all right, let's go. So my goal is 20 per night, and then by that I'll be done before Thanksgiving, and I can move on. And if I do 20 per day / night when I've got vacation next week, then I can move on to my other projects I've got too. So there you go.
How long does each one take?
So these, I found a setting that lets me run it in one pass, and it's about 3 minutes total, no cleanup. But great. Then I just have to tie these things, and so that's where Laser of Love's already saying, who's helping tie the hangers? It's just me.
Yeah.
I asked my wife, and she was like,
that's why it's 20 per night, right?
Yeah, so it's 20 per night. These arthritis hands, that's it. It's like, it's instead of Billie Eilish with the ocean eyes, I got the arthritis hands, right? Let me give me those arthritis hands.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So there you go. Y'all didn't know you were going to get singing when you came tonight, did you?
No, dude. I did not. But I'm always welcoming to it.
It's never the
like karaoke
actual
night.
It's never the actual laser engraving that takes the time.
Yeah.
It's the tags, it's the unpacking, it's the repacking, it's the cleaning up afterwards.
Dude,
somebody time me on this one.
Do you guys remember back when I did that job? It was one of the first jobs I did on the CO2 Galvo where they had the pigtail turners, and I had like 900 of them to do.
I loved that.
What's a pigtail
watching
turner?
that stream?
It's like a little, like a hay stick.
You
little...
grab ribs with them off the grill.
Yeah. No,
they're like,
They're little curly Q things, and you stick it into the meat and pick it up and flip it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, they sent me like 900 of them to do, and they sent the first package of them of 50 in the packages, and I was like,
"Oh no!"
I was like, "No." I literally mailed it back to them. I just emailed them no. Period, and like literally sent it back to them. I was like, your guys at your warehouse, because they were manufacturing these. I was like, your guys at your warehouse are going to unbox all of these and put them in a box with layered bubble wrap or whatever you need to do to feel good about shipping it, and send these back, because I am not unpacking and repacking 900. It takes twice as long as the Mark. The Mark took, like, you guys remember, the Mark was like 15 seconds. But then I sit there and mess with the packaging for like 2.5 minutes. Before and after each one. It's like, why am I even doing this?
That kind of thing right there cost me a huge job, because the guy, so long story short, I had a guy who remember I do the motorcycle company I work for. The guy had 5,000 enamel pins, and he wanted the back of the pins to have like 0001, 00. So just serialization, which is like, I mean, you can set them up on a jig and run like 50 or 60 in no time. But they came individually wrapped, and so then he would have to literally break the seal, take the thing out, unpin it, put it in the jig. Just the thought of it, and then have it. And by the way, like I told him, I was like, I can't put them back into the bags because they don't seal, so they'll just come out. So I said my thought was put it onto a piece of styrofoam in order, so that he could have them all. And then because he had a resealing thing. And he was like, dude, just paying my warehouse staff to reseal them is going to make this a no-go. And and I was going to charge him like, I think 50 cents per thing, because it was like 8 seconds. So anyways, it just sucked because that was like a $2,500 job that would have taken me no time. And what's happening? Oh, every time this thing changes colors, it's focusing on the fish.
Yeah, dude. You're fantastic. Don't worry about it.
It's all right.
So since we don't really have like a hard topic today, I want to make sure that we stay up on chat questions too. Mike McGaha is asking, I need your opinion on the Muse Titan. Is that an FSL laser?
It is.
So, I mean, I'm sure FSL, full spectrum laser, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure they make nice machines, but the one thing to know about them is that they use proprietary software and hardware, and there is not a great support community of other users out there to bounce off of. And I've heard less than pleasant things about their actual customer support. So we won't be able to help you a lot here at Laser Everything if you pick up one of those. And you're not going to get help from like the Epilogue community over in Michael's corner. You're not.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, and Mike's saying so.
No light burn is correct.
No light burn is absolutely correct. You're locked to their system. Then all of the parts in those machines are like totally proprietary, so you can't get like aftermarket parts for them.
Which is expensive.
You have to get parts from them for that specific machine. It's just a
or you have to learn how to wire yourself.
Just like everything else, right? I'm gonna put the asterisk on this. Just like everything else, guys. There's a diehard fan base for full spectrum laser users, and you can find them if you look hard enough. But as far as openness, repairability, and what the community at large looks like, I think you would be better going with something a little more mainstream. And there are mainstream options at the high, medium, and low end. Even like Epilogue, and Michael knows this. Epilogue, an excellent proprietary laser system. They use proprietary software and hardware. They build everything in-house in the USA, but they have very good customer support, and their community is huge. There's a massive Epilogue community out there that's always willing to help you, right? I mean, that's the feeling that I got, at least with my time from it. What's your experience been with that, Michael?
Yeah, 100%. And I know that's like, I see where the Muse, I just want to say this comment. I'm looking at the product page right now, the Muse Titan. And I see where they're, well, first of all, the price, $6,000, right?
Right.
And something that doesn't equate well to me is the $6,000 price tag and the 48 by 24 bed, right? I think that's like where they're trying to, it seems, wow, for $6,000, I'm getting this giant work area.
Size matters, Michael.
I mean, that's bigger than my Epilogue M2 Fusion. That's huge.
Right. It's massive. Right.
But I just want to refer back to everything you just said. But what you just said, and as far as Epilogue is concerned, you're 100%. Yeah. So every time I've had an issue, and that's included when we used to work together, we never had a problem getting a hold of Epilogue and them. I'm talking no problem, Mr. Mullins, we'll send you that new part overnight.
Right.
You got it. They understand.
And I'm not, just to be clear, Mike, I'm not trying to sell you on an Epilogue right now. Just, I'm saying if you're going to pick a company that is selling proprietary hardware, make sure that they have the support to back it up. It's kind of my point. Otherwise, pick something with a huge user-based community like Ruida controllers, right? Where there's just so many thousands and thousands of people that it's likely somebody will run into a problem that you're having, and they'll have already dealt with it in the past, and the answer is out there. And that's not necessarily true for FSL. So what were you going to say, Kyle? Sorry.
For reference, I've actually I just spent in the last year, I've had two people come to me with the same problem, and I'm not bashing FSL.
It's anecdotal.
But I will say that, anecdotal.
Yep.
The experience that these two people had were god awful. And they have two different machines, both of them two different issues. Each of them took more than 6 months to get a warranty swap on parts that failed. One was a power supply and one was something else, both of which are wired proprietarily.
Yeah, right.
It's not it's an off the shelf part, but it's an off the shelf part that they wire the way they want to have it in the background. So it's a very odd game. But what I will say is, if you like the form factor, which is what I'm seeing in chat, you like the size, there are other machines that fit that footprint. They're not the only ones with that footprint.
Yeah.
Similar size, similar enclosure, but you get a Ruida or a Trosin or whatever controller, and you get off-the-shelf parts instead of something that's wired proprietarily.
Yeah.
So if you want that, by all means get that, but don't feel like you have to be locked into that seller.
Yeah. And the anecdotal stories and stuff, guys, I mean, this Kyle and I do support all day, every day, and we do not actually get a lot of complaints about companies like screwing people over or stories about bad support. We don't hear them that often. So when we hear them, they weigh very heavily on our opinions about things, because despite what you may think, just kind of joining this industry, especially if you're fresh, you'd think people are returning machines all the time and having a bunch of horrible experiences because they're so complex and there's so much that can go wrong. But generally, these companies do support their products fairly well. So when we hear stories like that, it really kind of weighs heavy on us when we're making recommendations. Kyle and I can't use every single laser. We try. We have a billion different brands of lasers. I'm surrounded by like 16 different brands of stuff right now, but we can't do them all. So, that would be the best advice that I could give, kind of off the hat. What is Dana Fost? Dana. Oh, Dana.
I was just
Fost.
reading that.
Dana Fost. Yeah. Can we check that one out?
Yep. So Dana Fost is, I'm going to get my first laser and was going to start with an Amstack A20 with a sonic pad. Is that a good setup for someone new to lasers?
What's the
First
sonic
off,
pad, Kyle?
Sonic pad is not for diodes. The last I checked, it is a it uses a controller software for 3D printers. So I don't think that's what you want. An Amstack A20, for all intents and purposes, we haven't reviewed one yet, so we can't give you like a personal opinion on it. It's a pretty beefy laser. It's a 20 watt output optical.
You have a good general experience with Amstack, though.
That module is essentially 4 of the M40 modules that I have, I believe, but they're beam combined together.
Right.
So, but it's going to have a larger dot size than you would get from a single diode experience, because you're combining 4 beams
with the X.
So you're not going to get as much.
So big.
Yeah. You're not going to get as much detail out of it if that's what you're looking for. The dot size is going to be a little bigger because that diode is designed for stacked cutting. It'll still be decent. It'll be a smaller dot size than a CO2 for sure, but just to temper your expectations. A sonic pad runs Clipper firmware, and that's for a 3D printer. You're not going to want that.
If for whatever reason you're not after dot size, most of the time when I'm recommending a diode to somebody, it's for the dot size. But there are people that that's what they can afford, and they can't have a CO2 right now. You know what I mean? And that's what they can get. If you just want something powerful that's going to engrave and cut super good, it's probably going to be a good pick. So don't make your choice on dot size alone. If you're using it as like a CO2 stand-in until you can get a bigger, faster machine, it's probably going to be a solid choice. Because again, I feel like Kyle, and I don't want to speak for you, man, but you've had pleasant experiences with them overall.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Cool. If anybody's wondering what the clanking is, I'm literally building Ortur's rotary module right now, which disappointingly comes in about 50 million pieces. Everything else, I built 2 of their lasers in one night. Like, and what did we spend, Kyle? Like 2 hours, like an hour a laser. I mean, like they were super easy to build, but then their rotary just comes and it's like, like literally just like Legos, dude.
Bag of parts.
So I'm assembling this because I don't have time to do it later tonight, and it needs to get done because we need to start getting this stuff out because we're almost out of Q4. So that's what I'm doing, and that's cool.
Chris.
Oh, Chris says, sorry I can't make it tonight. I just got off work. Frustrated with my Tezer though. Rip, dude, that sucks. Sad to hear it. I wish that we could get you
to sit down together one night.
Yeah, sit down and talk a little bit more about that. Chris has a X-Tool knockoff, Michael, called the Tezer, and it was great the first day, and it was good the second day, and then it's kind of been
now it's existed.
Yeah, it's having like Gerbil errors and stuff, and there's like a whole bunch to it.
Didn't it keep going back to home or something? Or
bro, by the way, I didn't have this ready to show you the last time you were on.
What do you got? Yes. Did you do a video on it?
Oh my God. No, I didn't do a video on it, dude, but it's sick. It's so cool.
You think? Okay.
Dude, it's sick. And you know what? I didn't think that I was going to like it, but I like it. I have problems with the software.
Yeah.
I have software issues with this thing, but just as a gadget, just as a thing that exists.
As a gadget, it's going to serve some weird purpose somewhere. Yeah.
Is that the pecker?
Yeah, that's the Laser Pecker 2 Pro.
Show us your pecker one more time.
But my main issue with it, shut up, Matt. My main issue with it is that first of all, you can't really set the DPI, like the resolution or line interval. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's three options. You get 1K, 1.3K, and 2K, which just equate to some random DPIs.
Right, that's what I
had them email me. Yeah, and that sucks, especially when you're trying to do photos. They advertise this so much for photos, but then you can't dial in your resolution to get the photos right. Yeah. So that is infuriating. And then the other thing is that they call speed depth, which is like super misleading, and I hate it. And it doesn't take vectors unless it's an SVG, and it's got all these weird like little, I don't know. It has a software problem. If it ran on like Lightburn or something, I'd be like, all about
check this out. Yeah.
Galvo diode, sick, but that I don't know. And this is something I'm actually supposed to make a video about right now, and I haven't done it yet because I'm fucking bad at my job. But Xtool is coming out with the F1, which is just a tiny bit bigger with a blue diode laser and a 1064 fiber module inside.
Okay, so it can switch back and forth.
It can switch back and forth. Yeah, and it's like in that handheld, like literally like pocket-sized form factor.
Can it do both at the same time?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure why you'd want to, Kyle.
But why?
Two chicks at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, why not?
It does look cool though, and I told them I would make a little video about their Kickstarter, and I haven't done it yet because again, I'm not very good at my job, especially the commercialism part of it, but I'll be doing that tonight or tomorrow. But anyway, so that may be a better choice because we already know Xtool supports Lightburn. So hopefully we'll see compatibility there and it'll be better. But you have one, right?
I do have one. And when I first got it, it reminded me of that scene from I think is it Elysium where they have to break the guy?
Yeah,
remember the guy out of the building, and it was like
totally.
It felt like I was holding one of those, and I could pick my triangular pattern for the laser charge. You know, but actually, that's funny. When I first got that, you have been more into diode lasers. That was my first diode laser that was sent to me to kind of check it out.
Your first diode laser was a Galvo diode laser? It wasn't even on gantry? Oh,
well,
bizarre.
I had another way to start. I have a couple other ones. I just haven't put them together yet.
Yeah, sure.
It'll be a vastly different experience.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was the first time I actually got to see how bright those are.
Dude, oh my God.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I turned it on and was like, oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, last night I couldn't get the Alfaro Laser 2's little diode module to work, and it was because I was using the wrong cable, so I just didn't have the right cable plugged in. And once I swapped it, I hit the frame button, not realizing that my little orange shield wasn't down, and I took one hard to the face last night. Yeah. Kyle remembers. I was like about to cry. Like it was really bad. Those things are bright. You have to be super careful with blue light diodes. I mean, you have to be careful with all of them, but blue lights hurt particularly badly because they're visible. So
it stings deep.
Yeah, it stings deep. Yeah,
it's like the first night I got the UV, I looked straight down into it and it was like, ugh.
Yeah, the UV too. That UV with the purple light, dude, really gets you if you are if you're not wearing eye protection for sure. What's the timeline on that UV, Michael?
That's a great question. I just got a job thrown at me today. A really juicy job.
Ooh, we like juice.
Like really juicy job.
Yeah.
And the first thing that came to mind is I'm sitting there nodding my head on the phone to the guy. Big production company, big factory that has these totes that go through the big automated machines, and they want all four sides. They're white plastic totes, and they want all four sides barcoded and then the lid too.
Yeah.
I'm talking thousands of totes brought to me over a period of months. So I'm seeing dollar signs.
You know a guy who has
I'm thinking UV lasers as I'm talking to this guy, going, God, Alex, I brought this guy. He brought this job to me because he forced me to get one of these.
I brought it into your life. I was just like, sending you that energy. Yep, totally.
So how can you tell, since we're talking about it?
Sure.
How can you tell if I have to get this plastic, I have to get this tote? I will not know if I can get a nice dark gray mark until I get the tote.
I can't guarantee that you're going to get a gray mark, but I can guarantee that you're going to get a nice one.
A nice what?
A nice one, a nice mark, a nice mark on it, because
it might be closer to white, it might be closer to a dark gray,
but you
won't know until you test it.
But the beauty of UV is once you get it, and you always get it. That's the beautiful thing about UV, man. You always get it. So you'll definitely be able to mark it, but you won't know until you have we could probably, one of the guys can test it out for you.
He's going to drop one off either tomorrow and then I'm going to have it to play with,
you could probably 2-day it to me and I could work on it for you.
I was going to say, cut some tin snips, get some tin snips, cut out a couple squares, shoot one to Kyle, shoot one to Matt.
Yeah.
And then if they can find your setting for you, then boom, you're in the game.
You can ask Kyle. I'm pretty fast at finding settings once we get close. It's like, I was proud of me.
Because it's got to be able to be read by, it's going to be a barcode. And it's got to be able to be read by an eye. That as it's going by, it's going to hit it. So it can't be a white mark that on a white tote. It's not going to happen.
It's a tall order, but I don't think it's undoable.
I don't think it's undoable at all. I never, Alex, what was when we used to work together? So we're yes men.
We are yes men.
Always say that we are yes men.
Yeah. Even when we shouldn't be.
To try.
Even to our own demise, sometimes we would say, yes, sure, we can do it. Let's go.
Like that, do you remember the metal cut sign with the acrylic backing? It was going to be backlit.
We did it.
That one, we should not have said yes to that, but we did it.
We did it.
We did do it. Yeah, we did do it. Who threw this comment up here from Mike C?
I might have. So Mike said you guys should get a com marker, or you should get com marker to send you a B5. So for those of you who haven't been participating in the live streams or catching up with them, com marker sent me their B4, which is before the B5. No, I'm just kidding. The B4 is a 20 watt fiber with a max source.
What's the B5?
It's an all-in-one unit, very similar to the B5. The difference is the B5 is already on the market, and the B5 is a self-contained 10 watt fiber laser. The difference is that it is very similar to what the 20 watt M8 sources look like, where it's self-contained in the Galvo arm, essentially, or at least that's what it appears to be. But yeah, that's about it.
Show Michael the com marker. He'd get a kick out of that.
Show me.
Is it around?
I gotta turn the lights on.
Oh no.
So is it another handheld, but it's a fiber?
It's a all-in-one combo unit that can be used as a handheld.
Okay.
It's somewhere between like a laser pecker and like the ultra portable fibers.
Yeah.
So I have a question about the pecker, honestly. Like, I had a job, not really an offer. Well, and this is while he's getting that out, like, because Kyle showed me this before. So this device he showed me, like totally not on camera.
See how you can just pick it up?
It's light enough where I can comfortably sit here and hold it. It's maybe, I think the shipping weight was 14 kilograms, but that included packaging.
Is that the one that came with the device to make it a handheld?
Yeah, there's a handle on top. All you gotta do is undo the screws underneath, and it's now
a handheld with a focusing. It's got a focusing
It's got
rod.
one of those like conal tripod things you mount here.
Yeah,
you could literally set it up and it just let it stand on its own and it's focused. But what I was looking at is there was a job where like a local elementary school had made, like, they had paved the walking path with bricks, and they were asking if there was anybody who could carve out or engrave those stones, and because the other guy in place. But to me, that's where a machine like that can do it by hand, and it's just mortar, like brick but brick's a bitch sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you need like people aren't around.
I thought you were still talking about the laser pecker. I was like,
no.
dude,
This guy. But if it's 20 watt, I mean, what do you guys think of a 20 watt that could do that? Because honestly, that job alone could pay off that machine.
As long as they're dark bricks, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen red. I've seen concrete bricks, but it's
these are kind of like
concrete bricks suck, dude.
Yeah, you would be out there even with a fast scan head with a 20 watt laser. You would be out there for about 2.5 months engraving bricks.
If I charge $800 a brick, it'll be okay.
You'll be sitting at each brick for quite a while doing multiple layers at 20 watts, even with a fast.
Yeah.
Come back looking like I've got like just a tan on my face every day.
Yeah, all kinds of grit and stuff and little pieces of concrete.
Take my glasses off. And it's like my actual skin color. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we got one done this month.
I definitely appreciate the thought there, but I agree. I don't think 20 watts is gonna.
No.
Especially because it's like that falls more into the organic range anyway. So the fiber's already struggling to mark those. The only reason that you're going to get good ablation is if the brick is dark. So it's only going to be good in certain situations, and then it's going to be slow regardless.
If you're going for depth on ceramics, it takes time on a fiber.
Yep,
it does.
Yep.
I don't care. Does anybody even want to see the UV going? I'm just like, they've got it going, but
I like watching it back there.
It's a pretty light show.
It's an audio podcast.
Have we addressed this?
It's a bonus for the 30 viewers right now.
It is. It's a bonus. Yeah, for the 30 people that will watch this on video.
Or people can see my lovely face.
Has anyone addressed this comment yet?
Probably not.
X-Tool Pro versus whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure. He's asked it like 17 times, so I just want to make sure we're. Boy.
How are you, boys?
Oh, just getting ready to start my other job next week. So I've been
amped.
Getting shit done around the house.
Did you get your religious beard exemption?
Yes, I have my beard exemption, brother.
Nice.
I'm not shaving shit.
Nice.
Assholes. Well,
Boyce's new job tried to de-beard him, man.
For real.
Tried to take his balls.
Yeah. I'm a healthcare worker, so they want me to get respirator fitted, the N95. And I told him, I was like, I've worn N95 for the last 3 years during COVID with the beard. So now I have to shave? They're like, yes. I'm like, no.
The beard is a natural filter. Don't they know that?
Oh, my God.
Well, I told them, I was like, you guys give religious exemptions. I want a non-religious exemption. I'm an atheist. They're like, what? I was like, I want a non-religious exemption. I'm an atheist. I have just as much rights as a religious person does.
And what do they say?
But you don't have like a what they call it, some kind of a religious
legitimate reason?
A religious privilege. No, and I told him, like, listen, you can't fire me for having a beard, so how can you restrict me from getting a job for having a beard? It doesn't make sense. They're like, well, I was like, so when you make that make sense, we'll talk. I was like, but until then, I'm not shaving.
Yeah.
You don't control how I look. This is not the kind of job I'm signing up for. I've had jobs for the past 17 years, never had a problem.
They must really want you if you're talking to them like that.
Well, that's the thing. They have to give me a big fat bonus because we're very in high demand right now because people are just quitting the healthcare field because it sucks.
Well, sucks to be them then. I guess they're getting bearded boys.
Well, people are quitting the teaching profession, and they haven't given me a raise in 3 years, those fuckers.
Exactly.
But they also didn't tell me to shave my beard, so that's okay.
Every time you walk into work, just make sure you stroke it.
So you got any?
I'm gonna grow a little extra long now.
Yeah.
Well, before COVID, dude, my beard was like down to my chest. It was pretty significant, and it was gnarly.
So is No Shave November coming back for Santa Claus boys? Is that what's going on?
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Always shave November for me.
My big thing is I always keep it shorter in the summer because it's just too, I just don't want to get all sweaty and shit more than I already am. But in the winter, I've stopped shaving my beard. I start growing it back out around like September. So this is about a good 2 months worth right now where I haven't trimmed. Well, I actually have trimmed this down a couple times since then. I'm trying to keep this length or longer just for wind abrasion alone. We're going to a Michigan game in 2 days. We're going to freeze our balls off, man.
Mm-hmm.
So a bare skin on my face would be not fun.
No, not fun. So have you got any lasering done lately?
Oh yeah, we just had about another dozen orders come in from the from work and people that we know at work and the show. Just keep
It's always
hammering
people
at it.
you know, huh?
Yeah, well, that and like people that were at the show. So I made some metal business cards to hand out, and we handed them all out,
and it worked apparently.
So we're starting to get some unusual requests. Like today, I had to make a cat ornament that had 3 legs and no tail because their cat has
3 legs and no tail.
Yeah, so I said, you know what, I can do that. And they say you can make a cat with. I was like, yeah, man, I'll just cut it out.
That's personalization to the max.
That's it, man.
You're like, I'm not here to judge your cat. I'm here to represent him on Christmas.
Well, I told them, I was like, which leg is missing? They said the back right leg. I was like, perfect.
Dope.
Little things like that. Done. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
and
sick,
so we're just having some fun, just doing some customized orders for people like that. And
yeah.
Then I'm going to start.
Are you feeling
once the holidays are done?
Are you feeling more comfortable with the Mira overall?
Oh, yeah. The Mira is where I'm. It's the easiest because the light burn. My fucking fiber's the bitch, man.
Yeah.
Goddamn easy cat
3. Somebody write Jason an angry letter right now.
For sure. Yeah, man. I want my easy cat 3 to work, man. Because this
Love says she's with you, boys.
What's that? Oh,
Love says she works at a surgical center. It's rough. She's with you on that.
Yeah, but whoopsie daisy. Well,
so. We do have another question in.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, we got Joel here. For expanding options of items to laser, should I save up for a CO2, a UV, or a diode? I currently have a 50-watt fiber. It depends on what you want to expand into.
Yeah,
I say diode. Just buy the diode. It's fucking $500.
$200.
The other two
between
are
thousands
and thousands. And the diode's going to open up a ton of new materials for you. It's going to let you do great photos, and they don't cost anything. So just get that. Don't save jack, and then start saving and figure out what you're going to get next, and double what you can work on now. You know what I mean? That opinion.
That's a valid option.
My 2 cents would be pretty much what Kyle started to say, which is number one, what market segment. Well, because, I mean, he's not wrong. You guys both went on a separate track. But what I was saying is if you're really trying to grow your business, number one, are you missing out on products that your customers that you have currently want but you can't make? Because if so, buy the machine that's right for that, right? Then the other thing, too, is there something that you can already make that goes with something that you already have? So, like, if you were making cool wooden signs, having a CO2, not wooden because you got a fiber, but if you're making like aluminum or slate signs and you wanted to be able to make yourself little holders by cutting out acrylic, CO2 would be the way to go. So, just look at like what actually amplifies what you already have too. Yep. So just from a business point of view, like what's got a little synergy with your current options.
Michael, if you want to incorporate like a lot of glass work, if you have a lot of bars around you, if there's any breweries, they want custom bottles done, anything like that, UV is the way to go for glass. CO2, you have organics. Diode is similar to CO2, but you're going to get a much smaller dot size and you're going to get better detail, but at the sacrifice of time. So it depends on what you want.
We're all very technical, kind of like analytical people, and I'm really curious to hear what Michael has to say about this because he by far has the largest business out of all of us as far as like laser marking goes and the most regular customers. What do you think, Michael, just based on the climate and what you've seen day to day?
Well, it's cool that Joel has a fiber already, so he's hopefully already doing lots of metal business, maybe some polymer business. But I am going to, I view diode lasers, and this is just me. I don't see them as a tool for business. I get that they are a practice and entry level. They get people familiarized, with how these things work and stuff. But if you're trying to, get more business and run a business, you should go with a CO2 laser. And you're also going to get with that an enclosure. So you're not going to have to deal with, getting some tent over your diode laser. The servos, the stepper motors are even at a low end CO2 are going to be faster than a diode most of the time.
Yeah, definitely.
I can always look at time. Agree with that.
time is money. And I just said that in my last, one of my last videos that I just posted on my channel, is how important time is. Time is money, and the speed of your machine. And I feel like CO2 is a better choice than a UV or a diode, and you will still be able to do glass, wood, leather, plastics, acrylic. You won't have any issues trying to engrave or cut white items, because diode lasers, they reflect a lot of that, so you don't run into any of those issues with the CO2 laser.
100% agree.
Yeah, so that's my take on it.
The only thing that my only argument against that would be, like, if they have $0 in their bank account, would you still recommend that they are incapable of doing organics until they can purchase the CO2 laser? I mean,
so this is where
you let them save 500, get the diode, and then save 6,000.
So this is where you got to turn business brain on, though, and literally say, I can get a loan. I can get a loan. And the loan helps me. So like mine, I had a certain percentage interest loan on it, and I paid it off in 11 months. So my interest was, I had a 4 or 3 year loan on it, and I paid it off in 11 months. So my interest that I saved, I think I was supposed to owe like $1,200 after everything was done, like added to the value. So that's where business mind comes in, and you go, can I make shit? But that's what I'm trying to say. If you don't have the market segment, or you don't know what you're going to do with it, then you're just buying toys.
Well, and I'd also say, how serious are you about business, really? Then, if you have $0 saved,
that's another
business,
question.
you're not really being serious about saving a business. I went and got a second fucking job. I was serious.
Right.
I paid cash for my lasers, 2 lasers cash, because I was serious about starting an actual business, not a hobbyist that hope I get lucky with Etsy or some bullshit. We just hope you're trending on TikTok or something fucking crazy. If you're a real,
I wish you had strong opinions.
I don't say a lot when I do talk, motherfucker. I mean it. Yeah,
100%. There is nothing wrong if you
that's want business brain, though.
You want to here comes the business brain. You got to jump off that diving board, get your feet wet. If you got 1 foot out, you're messing with diode lasers. If you want to get up your business, get more stuff, save enough for a down payment for a medium range CO2 laser, and just dive in and get into it and just start rocking and rolling. And pretty soon you'll be like, dude, this thing's paid off. What next CO2 even better than this can I get? Or, a UV like Alex keeps hammering on me about,
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have you back in the next 7 to 14 days, Michael, and I expect the UV to be on the bench behind you for the next episode of the Laser Source podcast.
So what's the address to your warehouse?
Yeah, right. I finished this, by the way, and it sucked, and I hated it. So, but it's done. The crappiest little roller.
What are those rollers made out of? What kind of material is that?
It's like
knurled aluminum.
No, it is like the old 90s rolling pin plastic. So it's catchy. Like it's got like a sticky.
Oh, like neoprene,
almost like neoprene, but it's gooey.
I love neoprene.
It's like roller skate wheel.
Oh wow! Okay, polyethylene meets neoprene.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but it feels tacky. The gears work. Everything seems hooked up. So I'll mess around with that laser later. I have a bunch of new diode lasers, dude. I'm gonna do show and tell while you guys just sit there.
I just want to say congrats to Laser of Love Creations, man. That's awesome.
Hey,
nice.
Hey,
congrats, love. Go all in. I love it.
Is Laser of Love in Florida?
Yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah, okay. Made a final payment. That must feel good.
That's a good feeling.
I know that feeling.
I paid my final payment in cash. Like I took it to the bank and put it into the bank, and it was just like,
the newest.
Ooh, look at that.
So, Boyce, JMax says it's time to fit an EasyCAD 2 board.
I guess so, man. I thought they'd come around to EasyCAD 3 within a year, but son of a bitch, not doing it.
I might know a guy with an adapter.
With an adapter?
So you don't have to wire it.
Whoa. I'm interested.
Well,
Gary's asked this question.
We'll talk after.
What about Gary? Gary's question about galvo gantry. Can I answer that?
Absolutely.
So Gary says, don't know if This was previously answered, but I'm curious, do they make a galvo fiber laser engraver on a gantry system? Have at it, man.
And first of all, I want to have a guess at Gary's last name. Is that right?
It's Presbys.
Jesus Christ.
Presbys. Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
Gary,
Thanks for watching, by the way.
Yeah. Gary, they do. It's not probably what you think, but they make cabinets where the galvo head is on a gantry, so you have a giant working area, and the galvo head can move on the gantry slowly as it's doing. With the galvo thing, it's can move over and move all different ways, but they're extremely expensive. And but it is a way to have a fiber laser that can do a really large area. They're just really expensive.
They're prohibitively expensive.
Yeah,
we know
6 digits or more.
We do know of one person who got one, and they
were very unhappy with it.
They were very, very unhappy with it.
The expectations around it weren't set very clearly, but to add to what Michael said, they do exist. They are available. I hope you have your wallet is prepared and open to flow. And
by the way, what do those run on? Are they EasyCAD 2 or 3?
No, they're usually proprietary software.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yikes!
So you will not have the support of the community for the most part.
Not here anyway.
You will be part of the niche.
Yeah, you'll have to go somewhere else.
The other factor is when you're moving a galvo head on a gantry, there's usually a parameter that some companies call it like a stitch factor. There's a couple different terms for it, but when you're moving a galvo head, you have a finite area the galvo can reach, and that's the purpose of the gantry, right? But when you move the galvo head on the gantry, you're effectively multiplying the area and stitching pictures together, right? Well,
like a puzzle
you
piece.
need to account for that in software. It's kind of like you would do a core file for EasyCAD 2 or 3, or it's part of the other parameters and timing and delay and
I'd also
other things you have to fine tune.
But we have to point out, it's not just you have to account for that in software. It's not that. It's a lot of testing and fine tuning. You have to account for that in software and
do things with it.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and just to be clear, it's not actually lasering and moving at the same time.
No,
it's
exactly.
Lasering one section, then moving exactly precisely over to the next section and matching it up perfectly, then moving it over again.
But it doesn't just do that. You have to make it do that. You have to dial that in. Yeah,
you have to program that.
And
here's the other thing. You have something happen like a power surge, you have anything that happens that might interrupt the job or anything like that. Think about the cost. Like I fuck up one of these and it's $1.25. Imagine the panels that you'll be working on and the shit you're doing and how much a blank cost. or there might not even be another one.
Go to again, second time I'm bringing them up today, but go to Epilogue and get a Fusion. Get the fiber source in the Fusion, and then you can do your panels on a big gantry bed with a gantry machine that has a fiber laser source in it, and save yourself the headache. You do not. I feel like there's this misconception that you need to use a galvo laser in order to use fiber, and that's not true. There are gantry fiber lasers, and there's nothing wrong with them. Obviously, they work at gantry speeds, but all of that unknown, all of that dialing in, all of that nonsense out the window, and you can just slap something in. As long as your bed is big enough, you can slap it in there and it's going to work just like a CO2 laser, but it's going to shoot a fiber beam. Honestly, that's probably the best case scenario for this project.
Yeah, I think so. You're not going to get all the cool cross hatching and multiple, all that kind of stuff that you would with a galvo head. But yeah, I mean, if you got to do stuff that big with fiber on metal, then you might want to look into just a multi wavelength system.
Yeah. Gantry system. Yeah.
Grush says my wallet has a big hole in it. My money keeps disappearing.
Whoops.
Yeah. When you talk about toys, that's how it goes.
Should probably stop hanging out with us. We don't make that problem better.
Wives love us.
Though we do help you find tools that'll make it back.
Boss, OhmTech, Thunder, or this like asking Ford, Chevy, Dodge? Kinda.
I have a Boss.
Kyle, can you say my answer for me, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
It depends on what you're looking for. Boss and Thunder are considered premium brands. OhmTech is considered more of a value brand. It depends on how much tuning you want to do after you get your laser and how much money you're willing to spend before it's ready to be used for quality work. There you go.
Yeah,
we don't have an official opinion on Thunder or Boss yet because we haven't personally used them. Matt has an opinion on Boss because he has a 150 watt CO2 gantry machine.
Yep.
It's not size that counts. But yeah, so
look, do you want to spend your time or do you want to spend your money?
Exactly,
if you want to spend your time, pick up the OhmTech. The OhmTech is capable of great things. They're good machines after you put the TLC in, after you put in the elbow grease, after you get things dialed in, after you do all of your adjustments and replace the crappy parts that you don't want in there and get them up to speed. They are workhorses. They're built like tanks. I like them, but they require a payment of time. Or you can go for the Boss or the Thunder and pay with money. They'll spend the time, and then you get more of a turnkey, ready to generate revenue laser in the mail, right? So that's as simple as the decision is. Do you want to spend your money or do you want to spend your time? I prefer spending my time because I like to. That's been a great opportunity. Yeah, I'm a tinkerer and I'm an educator, and it's a great opportunity to learn how these machines work. But I'm not running a full-time laser business anymore. Yeah, and if you are, you may find that you have the money and you don't have the time. And in that case, a higher end, more premium brand is going to be a better option for you.
I have an addendum.
I don't know what that means.
You just got that light object Ranger behind you. Would you think that should be a consideration for them too if they're looking in that ballpark and price range?
Yeah, light object.
Because that might be maybe a happy medium in between value and quality.
Yeah, there's not a lot that I don't like about the light object so far. I haven't had a ton of time to play with it, so this isn't like an official review or anything, but it does seem like a very high quality machine. It's got a couple rough edges just on fit and finish and design that you wouldn't see from something like an Eon, but that it's easily overlookable and it doesn't affect workflow, right? So if you can live without autofocus and you're okay with, the powder coating being a little weird in a corner here, or the acrylic having a little scratch on the window in a corner there, and that's okay with you, it's a great option. The cost is totally reasonable. The Ranger's great. The Ranger is 24 by 15. And then the one up from that would be the Legend, which I believe is like a 28 by 20. So that's more like the standard, 60 to 100 watt OhmTech size. Really nice machines too, which I got to play with while I was out there hanging out with Marco. But yeah, so that could definitely be a good option, something to consider. You'll probably save $1,000, $2,000 over something like the Boss or the Thunder, where they're really nailing you on the brand name, and get a similar quality machine.
Another option.
Yep.
Right. I bought my machine used. Right. So that you're obviously taking a risk. I know.
Such a Matt comment. This is such a Matt comment.
But this is business stuff though. Shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
So to me, if you're looking at machines, I knew the guy my brother owned the machine. He takes care of all of his shit. Right. Mm. So, but I also have bought a used machine from someone else that when I got it, it was a piece of shit. And the nice thing was it was a Boss 1420. The guy wanted $2,000 for it. It's a $7,000 laser because it had a 70 watt. It had all the different pieces. Now, by the way, you can get that same machine for like $5,000, by the way. But it came with a steel stand. It had all the components I needed to just go. But it was nasty as fuck. I had to clean it. I had to change the lens. I had to learn how to do all that stuff. I made sure everything was on point. And then the great thing about Boss too is when you buy a used product, they're not the warranty doesn't transfer, but the service transfers. So basically, when you call them, you say, "Hey, I purchased machine number 0, blah 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 blah." You give them the little serial number, and they're like, "Awesome, thanks for letting us know. And then they call the previous owner to say, hey, you sold this to this guy, right? And it's like, yep. And you basically have this free service. Like, so I was getting help from them. So that's one more thing too. Like because, we're not always here to help. It's not like, so if you need help, and that's another thing for a business too, to think about, if you're in the middle of a production run and it's due on Thursday, do you have the ability to fix that? Can you go? Also having a place that has parts. And by the way, this is where Light Objects is a good option too, because they have parts here. Like if you watch the video, you've seen Light Object has a huge warehouse with everything on stateside. Mm-hmm. So you can get your shit fast. So those are the kind of things, if you're thinking about business, if something breaks, how can I fix it? Will there be somebody to help me, like an engineer or a mechanic who can actually do this? And then that's my thought. And so I had a $15,000 machine that I was able to get for $10,000. The first one, the other one was a $5,000 or $6,000 machine I got for $2,000. So I had two machines for the price of under what one initially cost, So just, that's one of those things where you can, like Alex said, it's all about what's your main goal? What's your outcome? So that's my thought.
And your tolerance for the risk when buying these.
Gary says his last name is pronounced Smith. Thank you very much.
What?
Gary Smith. Cool. Got it. Sorry.
The hell is.
Gary is asking because he's looking for a solution to etch lettering into powder-coated aluminum AC instrument panels. Some of that can reach up to 5 feet wide. Get a CO2 gantry and just engrave the powder coat off.
Yeah. Yeah. You can remove powder coat with the CO2 without having to actually engrave into the metal. So that'd be great. Also, really quick, it's Samuel Z.
That's the ghetto stream deck.
who's now Laser Tuna. I'm calling him Laser Tuna.
Laser Tuna, nice. Hey, big tuna.
Laser Tuna.
Laser Tuna. Oh shit. Are we done? We are. Okay. Hey guys. I love you. You guys know
gosh.
I love you. Are you done yet, Matt? How many more do you have to go?
Oh no, but I'm not trying to show off my shit. I'm literally using the light from the screen to make sure I'm okay with that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not like every time. I'm literally just analyzing because I'm frustrated with one thing, but it's no one else. It's the kind of shit like you guys said we noticed, but no one else would ever fucking care.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, so I made 10, so I got 10 more to make tonight. So there you go.
Stay committed. Stay committed. Yep. Stay to it.
Yep. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Laser Source podcast. Michael, thanks for coming back, dude. I like that we roped you in for a second one. We got a lot of good questions today from the viewers too. So make sure you guys tune in every week. We do Tuesday and Thursday, 9:00 p.m. EST. So if you like this kind of stuff and you want more of it, we've got it. You listen to the show everywhere you download podcasts, and you can find us on YouTube too. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to smash the like button. Let everybody else know the content is good. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified the next time we upload an episode of the podcast. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review 5 stars. All you have to do, you don't have to write a review, just tell Michael to get a laser in the review. That's all you have to do. Just say, Michael, buy a UV. That's all I need to hear, and I'll be a happy camper. And I think I don't know, go buy some merch. Go check out Michael's channel, Laser Engraving 911. I'll throw a link down in the description for you guys. But if you search it, it's literally the first thing that you, I love that. Laser Engraving 911. Somebody help me. Michael's the guy. Go check out his channel. He's got a lot of great content over there. You can find me, Kyle, and Boyce over on Discord. We're just lounging around doing our thing, and on the Facebook group and wherever else we, show our ugly faces. That's all I've got, guys. Thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of the Laser Source Podcast, and we will see you in the next one.
Peace.
Click, click.